Welcome back to Connected Rheumatology. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Ortiz. You guys, so excited. I am so grateful for everyone who's left comments or who has subscribed. You know, I started this channel because I knew that there was a huge gap in the education and the information that patients need and want and what doctors are able to provide in the clinic. And I'm just so excited that this seems to have resonated with so many of you. I am still like a couple months away from hitting my 1-year anniversary, but I was kind of thinking about it and kind of getting a little nostalgic and realizing that I've done these videos and have focused on what I always say, rheumatology, immunology, diet, movement, mental health, and wellness, but haven't really said anything about me. And so today's video, I'm going to talk about one of the most common questions I would get in clinic, or I do get in clinic, and that is, why did I choose rheumatology? So stick around. Alright, so even though this video probably took like the least amount of preparation, it's kind of maybe the hardest one for me to put together, just because it's a little hard for me to talk about myself and a lot easier for me to talk about your ANA, but I'm gonna give it a try. So why did I choose rheumatology? Well, you know, I like lists, so I'm gonna give you my top 3 reasons. Number 1 was I liked the people. I liked the rheumatologists I met. I had some early exposure in medical school to rheumatology with some patients, and then I was able to do a rotation. And in the world of medicine, when you are deciding to specialize, to decide to specialize so early on in medical school is actually considered very early. So I had early exposure and pretty much made up my mind really early. Now, medical school is stressful, and that was the case for me. I did fine on tests and whatnot, but there's an element of medical school that kind of requires a lot of performing and really being able to think on your feet and think out loud and be brilliant out loud, and that was just not what I was good at. And so I basically spent the last 2 years of medical school just like a deer in headlights for 2 years straight. It was just like constant bombardment of new information, and then I needed to perform for people and prove that I was smart. Like, it was just a lot. And so when I met the rheumatologist, it was like a breath of fresh air. They were nice, and they allowed me to take in the information in the way that I naturally do, which is just to kind of observe and take it all in, and not necessarily to think on my feet and like act quick and talk, and that's just kind of not my style. And they were just really nice in how they talked through things, and I liked how they were with patients. And long story just to say, I liked the people. It's like I found my people. All right, number 2 is I really like the patients. Rheumatology is mainly a bunch of conditions, autoimmune conditions, that affect mainly women and mainly young to middle-aged women. Now, of course, you take care of older individuals, and there are pediatric rheumatologists. So children and teenagers can certainly be affected by our conditions as well. But as an internist who specializes in rheumatology, it's a lot of young and middle-aged women. And this was a community of patients that I really connected with, that I really enjoyed working with. And even before I really understood rheumatology, you know, when I was a student or a resident, I still enjoyed sitting down with this group of patients and really helping them figure out what their condition was and what their future was going to look like now with their whatever condition it was that we were talking about. And so the patients that I got to take care of and I get to take care of was a huge part of the decision to go into rheumatology. And then number 3 was, I think, the conditions, the autoimmune conditions, learning about the immune system, learning about when the immune system goes awry and how that manifests in these different conditions of lupus and RA and scleroderma and all the others, I find fascinating. Learning rheumatology requires you to take your anatomy and your physiology knowledge to the next level. And I really, really enjoy that. I liked being able to take these kind of complex and amorphous type topics and conditions and really being able to narrow them down into kind of digestible chunks. And you know, it's not just to be able to communicate to the patient, it's for me. Like, I have to kind of bring it down to wrap my own head around it. And that whole process of doing that, I find really satisfying, and I'm constantly reminded of how interesting I find the field. And then just a little bonus, you know, I talked about the 3 things that got me to choose rheumatology. And like I said, I made this decision many years ago, you know, to be exposed to a field in medical school and then actually follow up and become and work in that field. It's very early to make that decision. A lot of people don't decide to be whatever specialist they decide to be until maybe residency or even later. So as I said, there's been a lot of years since the time I made that choice. When did I make that choice? What did I say? I was in medical school, so that was 2003. I am not old, but I ain't young either. I am like smack dab middle age. So that was, hold on, 2013, almost 20 years ago, I made the, oh my God, almost 20 years ago, I made the choice to be a rheumatologist. Yep. And I'm glad I did, because as the years have gone on, I've gotten to know myself a lot better. And I can now 100% say that I was built for this field. The complexity and the uncertainty that is inherent to the field of rheumatology is right up my alley. And I've only learned to appreciate that and revel in it more as the years have gone on. I've also learned to expand what I think makes a good rheumatologist, and that has to include being a teacher. And quite honestly, that's where this YouTube channel came from. I love sitting down with patients in the clinic and educating them about what's going on and why I'm doing what I'm doing as the doctor. I think to really be able to provide comprehensive care to the autoimmune patient, of course we do the right testing. And of course we have tons of great new medications at our disposal these days. But you've got to also provide the education, because an autoimmune patient, or really any patient for that matter, who is armed with the right education and information can truly partner up with their doctor and form a team. And then, in my opinion, anything is possible. And so that's why I'm continuously excited about my field and very grateful that I was exposed to it early and made a decision to go into it. All right. Well, I mean, I guess there wasn't much to say about that. I'm sorry. It's probably a good thing that this is probably a little shorter. But I just wanted to say thank you. And please keep your comments coming. Please keep your suggestions for future content, future videos you'd like me to put out coming. Rheumatology, you can talk broad and you can talk very specific, and I'm happy to do both. You know, I really do believe, like we say every day here at Connected Rheumatology, it is all connected. And so there's no end to the content and the information that I think we can provide for you, and I would love to hear from you what you'd like to hear about. If you like this, please hit subscribe, like this, and share with your friends. If you know someone who is interested in going to medical school or being a doctor or maybe being a rheumatologist, maybe this might help them along the way make their decision. And as always, here at Connected Rheumatology, we talk about all things rheumatology, immunology, diet and movement, and mental health and wellness, because It is all connected. Thanks and have a great day.